In this video, we examine images, video footage, and voice recordings that have haunting backstories. They include a beaming smile that ended in tragedy and a chilling kidnap plot that was thwarted by undercover police. Join us as we explore the true stories behind these 5 haunting photographs and footage. Forever Stained. This haunting image shows Margaret Schilling, a former resident of the Athens Mental Health Center, which is now known as the Ridges in Ohio. At the time, the facility was one of many large asylums in America, housing the disabled and mentally ill individuals who were separated from society. The Ridges had the capacity to comfortably accommodate approximately 550 patients, although when Margaret was there, it had around 2,000 patients. On December 2nd, 1978, Margaret was playing hide and seek with a nurse when she mysteriously disappeared. Despite extensive searches, Margaret was not found. It wasn't until January 12th, 1978 that Margaret's lifeless body was found in a room on the top floor of the hospital. She was found with her arms tightly wrapped around her chest, and it appeared she had been in that position for a lengthy period. It was theorized that because Margaret was deaf and mute, after getting locked in the room, she was unable to call for help and died a slow, agonizing death from starvation. However, in reality, she was simply a woman with some mental disabilities. When her body was finally removed, a stubborn stain remained due to the decomposition of her corpse. Staff tried to scrub it, but it was still visible, and despite persistent efforts to remove it, the satin remains to this day. It is believed Margaret died as a result of heart failure due to exposure to the extreme cold in an unheated part of the ward. Interestingly, she was found completely naked with her clothes folded neatly beside her. Today, the haunting stain draws crowds of visitors each year, acting as a grim reminder of a woman whose life was cut short during an innocent game of hide and seek. Baby news. This is the happy moment Chris Watts finds out his wife Shannon is pregnant with their 3rd child. However, this happiness is fake, as just a few months later, he murders Shannon and the unborn child, as well as their 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste. Take a look.
We did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
Really?
That's awesome. So pink means...
That's just the test.
I know. It just says the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome.
In the early hours of August 13th, 2018, Watts killed his family. He buried Shannon in a shallow grave near an oil storage facility where he worked and dumped his children's bodies into crude oil tanks. After the disappearance of his family, Watts made impassioned public appeals for their safe return, but his lies soon unraveled, and on August 15th, he was arrested after confessing in an interview with detectives to murdering Shannon. He later admitted to murdering his children. Watts later explained that he had planned the murder for several weeks and that the oxytocin found in Shannon's system was given to her by him, hoping to end her pregnancy because he believed that would make it easier for him to be with his girlfriend. On November the 6th, 2018, Watts pleaded guilty to multiple counts of first-degree murder, and he received 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole. If you want to know the full disturbing story of Chris Watts, check out this Top 5s video. Forgotten. This photograph shows a family enjoying Christmas Day in 2015. The blonde lady taking the selfie-style snap is Laurel Silva Volker. At the time, she would have no idea this would be the last ever image of her. Just a few days later, on December the 29th, Laurel went scuba diving off Ship Rock at Catalina Island in California to look for lobsters. Laurel was an experienced scuba diver and went down without a diving partner or a buoyancy vest. At 20 feet underwater, she gave a thumbs up sign to the dive captain. Soon after, the boat moved on to the next dive site, before noticing they were 1 passenger short. The crew had completely forgotten about Laurel and sailed off, leaving her in the water. When they realized she was missing, they raced back to the scene, but Laurel was gone. Her body was never found. We can only imagine what Laurel was thinking when she resurfaced from her dive and saw the boat in the distance, left to fend for herself with no buoyancy aid. For some reason, Laurel's name was not on the passenger roster, a mistake that cost Laurel her life at the age of just 45. Her sons later sued the Sundiver Company for her wrongful death. Tears of a Beast. You would think that this disturbing footage was of a man who had lost everything and was deeply distressed about it. However, chillingly, the only thing this man is distressed about is the fact he has been caught. Take a look.
No, no, no quiero más.
The man is Luis Garavito, also known as the Beast, a Colombian serial killer who, between 1992 and 1999, murdered and abused at least 193 young men and boys in Western Colombia, making him the most prolific serial killer and child molester in modern history. Garavito was finally apprehended on the 22nd of April 1999 and was held under suspicion for several months until he confessed in October of the same year. He was found guilty of 138 out of the 172 crimes he was accused of and was sentenced to 1,853 years and 9 days in jail, the lengthiest sentence in Colombian history. However, Colombian law limits imprisonment to 40 years. Because Garavito helped police find the victims' bodies, his sentence was further reduced to 22 years. A further confession in 2003 raised his victim count to 221. Garavito served his sentence in a maximum security prison in Valledupar in the department of El Cesar in Colombia. He was separated from the other prisoners for his own safety. Remarkably, he became eligible for parole in 2023. However, his bid for freedom was blocked. Despite this, Garavito remained hopeful that he would be released soon and expressed his plans to enter the Colombian Congress. Thankfully, nature intervened and Garavito died in hospital on the 12th of October 2023 at the age of 66. It was later reported it was likely he would have been released within the next 3 years. Holly Willoughby. This is a chilling voice message from 37-year-old Gavin Plums as he plotted to kidnap and harm British TV presenter Holly Willoughby. In messages to a potential accomplice named Mark, Plum detailed plans to attack Holly at her home, using chloroform to incapacitate both her and her husband. What he didn't realise is that he was speaking to an undercover US police officer. Take a listen.
Nothing's confirmed at a minute, mate. Don't celebrate too early. But yeah, it looks like she's back on track for once. Obviously, you'll find out when everything's planned, etc. So yeah, we'll go from there. I still think my place might be better because there's cameras everywhere. It's just a temporary thing. Hold her here. You've got bed, you've got warmth, etc. No worries, bud. Yeah, I've been just telling the guys that basically we're waiting on you. We're using your idea for the wait until DOI is done. Once DOI is done, we're literally getting everything in place. The only thing we're missing is somewhere to hold her. Right, plan of action. I'll give you a brief rundown. Basically, we're going to hit it at night. Less traffic on the road, etc. Chloroform both of them. That way then they can both be easily restrained. Pick out outfits of hers that we like. And then obviously take her and the outfits with us. And then we're gone.
That is disturbing stuff. Holly Willoughby is a popular and highly successful TV presenter in the UK. As soon as she learned of the plot to kidnap her, she was immediately taken off air. Thankfully, the police were onto the obsessed 37-year-old and he was apprehended in October 2023. This is the moment he was arrested.
What's going on? What the hell is going on?
Listen to what my colleague's got to say. Right, you're under arrest on suspicion of conspiracy to kidnap. You do not have to say anything.
What is going on? What are you talking about?
Mention one question, something which later line for anything you do so make you
Can you tell me what you're talking about? I was literally just about to go to bed.
The reason that they're going into that is because of the offence that you've been arrested for, we need to make sure that we can gather as much evidence as we can as quickly as we can. So you've had to put the door in to secure the evidence. Alright?
You've got no reason.
In his home, authorities found 2 bottles of chloroform and a restraint kit. In July 2024, Plum was found guilty of soliciting murder and inciting rape and kidnap. At his trial, the US undercover police officer who started talking to Plum on a Kik messenger group called Abduct Lovers told jurors he believed Plum posed an imminent threat to the presenter. Following the guilty verdicts, the investigating officer said Plum was a dangerous predatory individual who was intent on causing the most serious harm to his victim. He was not just simply obsessed with Holly Willoughby, he meticulously and carefully planned over a number of years to carry out a depraved and violent attack, in which he plotted to deprive her of her liberty and ultimately her life. Thankfully, he was caught just in time.